You know, folks, I really hate to give the devil their due, but one thing that Donald Trump and MAGA did a masterful job at is going out there and creating a straw man argument when it comes to the left. They go out there and they create this image of us to their base, and then they work to tear it down. And they accuse us of being the party of pedophiles. They accuse us of being the party of baby killers. They get their base living in fear of gay and trans people. And they act as though we're just the most evil people on earth. But then when you start digging into their Pandora's box, you realize that it's a whole lot of projection. And it's really hard for any party to call themselves the morals and values party when they have Donald Trump as the leader of their movement. One of the most immoral dudes that ever came down the pike. I mean, he's it. He is the poster boy for immorality. But he is at the top of he's the head of the snake. And then when you start digging into the personal lives of a lot of MAGA, it turns out that everything they've accused us of being and everything that they try to tear us down for are things they themselves have done, or it's been alleged that they done. If you look at Donald Trump and his circle of friends, from Vince McMahon to others, there are so many people out there that perfectly fit the bill of everything they tell us that we should be afraid of. Hell, the guy at the head of their ticket, the guy that is the leader of their party, was found liable of sexual abuse, and he defamed the victim. And they want to school us on morals and values. Mike Johnson, who monitors him and his son's porn, they want to sit and tell us about how we're supposed to live. It's absolute bullshit. But the one thing that is going to be pretty entertaining about all this is watching them eat each other and watching them not realize when they've actually exposed themselves. No pun intended. Marjorie Taylor Greene is out there threatening, if you release the Matt Gaetz report, if you release that, then we're going to release everything on all the other Republicans. Well, wait a minute, Marge. Hold on. I thought you were the party of morals and values, so which is it? Let's take a look here at this article. I want to bring this one up. And this one here is from The Guardian. I'm just going to read a section of it here for you. But this is what Marge had to say about the Matt Gaetz report. For my Republican colleagues, now again, for my Republican colleagues in the House and Senate, if we're going to release ethics reports and rip apart our own that Trump has appointed, then put it all out there for the American people to see. Yes, all the ethics reports and claims, including the one I filed, all your sexual harassment and assault claims that were secretly settled, paying off victims with taxpayer money, the entire Jeffrey Epstein files, tapes, recordings, witness interviews, but not just those, there's more. Epstein isn't the only asset. If we're going to dance, let's all dance in the sunlight, Marge wrote. Now, I wonder how Trump feels about her talking about the Epstein files, because if you'll remember when Trump was asked if he would release those, he said yes, and then he pumped the brakes real quick and said, well, maybe not so much them, because there's a lot of fake stuff in there, and that could really affect people's lives. So I wonder how he feels knowing that Marge is over there willing to throw everyone under the bus, but doesn't it ever register in anyone in MAGA's mind when she comes out with a statement like this and says to Republicans, hey, I'm going to tell about all the people you secretly paid off. I'm going to tell about all the settlements you made. If we're going to dance, let's dance. I'm going to tell them about Epstein. We're going to tell it all. If you're going to come out on Matt Gaetz, then we're just going to open Pandora's box and show everyone's dirty laundry. But they're supposed to be the party of morals and values, and they accuse us of being all the things that she just said she was going to bust them out for being. Do you see why it's so hard for people like us to take them seriously? Can you see why that their hypocrisy is just so sickening and nauseating to me? These people go out there and they make us feel guilty about everything when we're people over here on the left, and there's a lot of problems on the left, and we'll get to that in future videos. We will look at ourselves, we will examine ourselves, and we will say, you know, where did we go wrong? Where did we screw up? Do we have radicals on our side? Absolutely. Are they loud and obnoxious? Absolutely. I'll give it to you all day long. But for the most part, we're over here on the left just wanting people to have health care. We're over here on the left just wanting gay and trans people to be able to live their life and be left alone. We want to see marginalized groups lifted up. We want to see people have a fair shake in this world. We want to see the rich pay their fair share of taxes. We want to see people that work actually get paid to do so. We want to see prices come down. We want to see the economy do better. And Kamala Harris was out there talking about her plan for all those things. She wasn't going woke on anybody. She was talking about the policy. She was talking about job creation. She was talking about the economy, the very things they claim to care about. But meanwhile, they're over here fighting these culture wars, and they're over there telling us that we are immoral. It's us that are living in sin. But then when they start their infighting, suddenly we learn, no, wait a minute. According to Marge, the Republican, she didn't say, let's tell it all about the Democrats. She didn't say, let's tell it all about the independents or the Green Party. I mean, she said, my Republicans. So that tells you that they know the dirt that's on each other. And that tells you that they are using religion, they're using the Bible, they're using patriotism, they're using morals and values as a stage prop. And I've said this from day one, and I will continue to say this, that type of rhetoric should offend true Christians. Because I grew up in church. No, I don't go anymore. Yes, I'm agnostic. But I was raised to believe in it. And I was raised that we would give an account in the day of judgment for every idle word that we spoke and for every thought that we had in our brain. And every Sunday I would sit there and I would watch the preacher get up on a pulpit and he would do his altar call and he would tell everyone to come to the altar and give their heart to the Lord right now. You may never have a chance to do it if you walk out that door. I know what you did last weekend. I know you was down at the bar having a beer. I saw you down at the bar drinking and dancing. How'd they see you? But they did. I saw you down there, so now you get up here on this altar and you say you're sorry in front of everybody. And they guilted people and they shamed people. And they pushed people away from what was meant to be something to bring people together. And they sit back and wonder why more and more people walks away from the church. Churches wonder it. Ministers wonder it. What are we doing wrong? Well, you are embracing people like this. You're letting people like this be the front runner of your movement. You're letting people like this say to the world, I'm a Christian. You're not holding them accountable. You're letting them beat down anyone they disagree with and put up walls and put up laws to make other people's lives harder. You're doing all that in the name of Jesus Christ. And it's very offensive to people who truly are Christians, and it's offensive to everybody in between. Because that's not how it should have ever been. It was always supposed to be the church's job and the Christian's job to call out sin and to call out wrongdoing and to not be hypocritical about it. But from my experience, just speaking for me personally, they've always been this way. From the time I was a kid, we had Jimmy Swaggart up there crying, Lord, I have sinned. We had Jim Baker. They were always hypocrites. They were always grifters. And there is more Bible, I've read it right here on the channel, there is more Bibles to call out those, there's more Bible verses to call out those type of grifters than anything else. That's what you're warned against the most is the false prophets. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you truly believe that this is the Word of God and you believe that you're going to give an account for every move you make on this earth and you think Jesus died to give you the chance to sit next to his Father for all of eternity, then why in the world would you pin your faith to people's coattail who lived the exact opposite kind of life? And who only used it to beat people down and weaponize it against people they didn't like or understand or they just plain hated. Where did Jesus say hate your brother? Find that one for me. Where did Jesus say judge? Where did Jesus say push people away? Where did Jesus say to not let people into your circle? Where did he say that at? He didn't. But we have them out there telling on themselves now. Marge just told on them. So the next time they come at you and say, well, this Democratic politician was on that island or he was on that plane or I heard they did this or don't take your kids to the drag show, just pull up this quote from Marge. Here she is admitting that they're all of the things that they say we are. So going back to the start of this video, they go out there, they create the straw man, they tear it down. But people like us ain't going to fall for it. And we have to stand up for ourselves and we have to give it back to them. When they come at us with these bullshit conspiracy theories and stories, we have to stand our ground, folks. We really do. Because we can't continue to allow them to have control of this narrative. We have to call them out when they're hypocrites. We can't let them slide. And we haven't ever let them slide here on the channel or here in the pro-democracy movement. We go out of our way every day to expose that hypocrisy. And we're going to keep on doing it. Because it's an insult to everyone involved. And it's an insult to every institution and everything that we ever held sacred in this world. They're an insult to it. They truly are. But I truly appreciate you guys so much for coming along on this ride with me. Folks, we're gaining subscribers like crazy here lately. I think at the moment we're up to like 400. Yeah, we're at 413 Oh hell, we're almost to 414,000 subscribers. We just hit 400, 413,700. I'm getting tongue tied. We already hit 400,000 this week, and we've already gained 13 more. So I truly appreciate y'all so much for hitting that button. And if you haven't already, be sure to do so. And I really appreciate all of your support. Thank you for listening. And I hope that we can get through these next years, but we will do so by standing up for the truth and by calling out the hypocrisy.